Today, let's talk about something that's been bothering me since I found my first grey hair, which was quite a while ago, I must say. The devil, demons, and all that spooky business. The kind of thing that makes religious folks clutch their pearls and conspiracy theorists stockpile tinfoil. Did you know in ancient Babylon they had a demon for everything? Like cosmic customer service representatives. Oh, you've got a headache. That's Steve from accounting, fifth circle, second desk on the left. That makes our modern devil seem like quite the micromanager, doesn't it? Having to handle everything himself. No wonder he's always depicted looking so grumpy. Speaking of appearances, let's talk about how our red-skinned horn friend got his iconic look. Picture this. Early Christian missionaries arrive in Europe, see the local pagans worshipping Pan, a perfectly respectable nature god who just happens to have horns and think, well, that won't do. Next thing you know, Pan's getting the worst PR makeover in history. It's like ancient religious cancel culture. You know what's really amusing? The medieval church had actual debates about how many demons could dance on the head of a pin. Not joking. Brilliant minds, top scholars, arguing about demon dance parties on needles. Meanwhile, the peasants were probably more concerned about having enough pins to hold their clothes together. Now, here's where it gets interesting, eh? And by interesting, I mean absolutely bonkers. During the Middle Ages, there was this best-selling book called the Malleus Maleficarum, the Hammer of Witches. Think of it as witch hunting for dummies. It explained how to identify a witch using foolproof methods like checking if they weighed the same as a duck. Makes modern job interviews seem quite reasonable in comparison. The ancient Egyptians had Set, originally a pretty important god of the desert, storms and foreign lands. Then some political reshuffling happens, and suddenly he's the bad guy. Imagine having your LinkedIn profile go from protective deity of the pharaoh to professional chaos agent overnight. Talk about a career change. In Persia, they had Ahriman, the destructive spirit. But here's the kicker. He wasn't just evil for evil's sake. No, he was more like that one employee who constantly opposes everything in meetings just to be difficult. Oh, you want to create light? Well, I'm going to create darkness. You make puppies. I'll make fleas. You invent pizza. I'll put pineapple on it. The Vikings now, they had an interesting take. Loki wasn't exactly a devil figure, more like a cosmic prankster who took things too far. It's all fun and games until someone gets Balder killed and triggers Ragnarok. Classic Loki, always ruining the office party. Let's fast forward to the Salem witch trials. Did you know more people were accused of witchcraft over property disputes than anything else? Imagine your neighbour accusing you of devil worship because they want your parking spot. Actually, that might explain some of my experiences in Manhattan during the 80s. Speaking of the 1980s, oh, what a time that was. Suddenly, everything was satanic. Rock music. Satanic Dungeons & Dragons. Definitely satanic. Left-handed people, probably satanic. I once saw a church group protest against a heavy metal band, not realizing their own hymn books had more mentions of blood and sacrifice than all of Black Sabbath's albums combined. The Catholics really took the cake with their detailed hierarchy of demons. They categorized them like a corporate organization chart. You had your entry-level tempters, middle management tormentors, and executive-level destroyers. Makes you wonder if they had performance reviews and dental plans. Here's something delightfully ironic. During the Spanish Inquisition, the more you denied being in league with the devil, the more it proved you were guilty. It's like that time my third wife accused me of not being romantic enough, and every attempt I made to defend myself just dug the hole deeper. Come to think of it, maybe she learned her interrogation techniques from those old Inquisition manuals. Did you know that in some medieval churches, they would put grotesque gargoyles on the outside to scare away evil spirits? Imagine being a demon flying around looking for souls to corrupt and being put off by bad architecture. Oh no, crude stone carvings, my one weakness. The Puritans believed that witches signed their names in the devil's book. Must have been quite a tome, like a hellish yearbook. Best wishes for all the future corrupting. Hugs and kisses yours faithfully, Satan. Though I suppose now he's probably moved on to digital signatures and blockchain contracts. In modern times, we're a bit more sophisticated with our devil stories. Now, he's a smooth-talking businessman in a suit, which honestly makes more sense than the whole pitchfork thing. Have you seen the price of real estate in hell lately? It must be making a killing. You know what's really devilish, though? How these fear tactics are still used today. We've just rebranded them. Instead of demon possession, we have foreign influence. Instead of witchcraft, we have conspiracy theories. Instead of heresy, we have fake news. The dance remains the same. We've just changed the music. During the Cold War, you couldn't sneeze without someone calling it a communist plot. Now we've got people claiming Fiji Towers are mind control devices. At least the devil had style. He offered you actual talents in exchange for your soul. Now we trade our privacy for cat videos and think we're getting a good deal. Here's a thought that keeps me up at night. Right alongside my neighbour's questionably legal rooster, what if the real devil's greatest trick wasn't convincing the world he didn't exist, but convincing us to do his job for him? We've gotten so good at finding evil in everything that Satan could probably retire to Florida and take up golf. The ancient Romans had lemures, spirits of the restless dead, who had to be appeased with beans. Yes, beans. Imagine being a fearsome spirit of the underworld and being pacified with legumes. Makes you wonder if Jack and his magic beanstalk was actually an exorcism story. In my decades of studying these patterns, I've noticed something rather amusing. The more comfortable and secure a society becomes, the more elaborate its demons get. It's like we can't handle not having something to be afraid of. When real threats disappear, we invent new ones, usually with better special effects. But here's the real punchline of this cosmic joke. While we've spent millennia increasingly complex systems to explain and contain evil, we've mostly ignored a simple truth. Most of the world's darkness comes from perfect, ordinary people doing perfectly ordinary things for perfectly ordinary reasons. No pitchforks or pentagrams required. So next time someone tries to sell you salvation or protection from some great evil, remember, the devil's not in the details. He's in the profit margins. And that's not just the cynicism of an old man talking. That's the wisdom of someone who's watched the same show with different actors for far too long. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to check on my garden. Those tomato plants are growing suspiciously this year. Might need to check them for any infernal influence. Though between you and me, I think it's just the compost. I am Geoffrey Softmouth. Good day to you all.